Gender equality. It's a sensitive topic that warrants nuance every time it is brought up. Instead, what you get for it on the internet is this. Boys are best, जान लो, बात ये मान लो. Boys are best, जान लो, बात ये मान लो. And a lot of this comes down to how stats are thrown around on the internet. See, stats can be misused and misleading. For example, Canada has one of the highest number of kidnappings per capita in the world. नहीं मैं माल फूक के नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, it's true. But it's not like Somalia is safer to live in than Canada. In Canada, parental disputes over child custody are considered when calculating kidnappings per capita. Now see how understanding stats requires a little more depth than an article by Chetan Bhagat? Now in this video, I'm going to use this treatment for stats, but those that are centered around gender equality. Basically stats that get misused a lot on the internet to further agendas. Hopefully you'll be able to look past my MS Paint skills. I've provided links for all sources. Alright, stat number 1. India is the bestest place for women because a rape per capita is lower than the West. In other words,
East or West, India is the best. East or West, India is the best.
No, rapes per capita don't tell you shit. Just like kidnappings per capita, as I mentioned in the intro. You know which countries would be the best in the world for women if you went by rapes per capita? Yemen, Egypt, and Syria, amongst others. Because their rate is even lower than India's. Now, unless you're a Disney junkie who believes Aladdin was a fucking documentary, you should know these are fucked up places. You remember how your mom told you that if you do bad things, you'd be reborn as a shitty animal? She lied. You'd be reborn as a woman in these countries. I'm going to show you a video for effect now. This is Taharush, an Arab rape game. If you misunderstand stats, you'd believe countries where this shit happens are safer than India. Now let me try and explain why the stats are this way so you're better armed at changing the world through internet arguments. Point number 1. Our rate of reporting is super bad, just 5.8%. Out of 1,000 women raped, only 58 reported. Now here's a rule of thumb. If the rate of reporting rape is closer to the alcohol percentage of beer than whiskey, you know shit's bad in that country. Oh, and of course, cops have a part to play in this too. Politicians ask them to reduce crime rate and not just their weight. So instead of stepping their game up and policing better, they stop registering FIRs, so the crime rate is lower. Classic Indian jugaad. Besides, most of the rapes in the West are date rapes. I think the others folder of an Indian girl's Facebook messages will tell you what kind of dating culture we have. Alright, point number 2. Now this point is strictly an opinion, alright? I'm going to draw an analogy over here. American football and rugby are pretty similar sports, but American football players have lots of padding and helmets. In spite of being human mattresses, American football players have larger number of brain injuries. Now this is because the padding gives them a sense of comfort and security, so they are more liberal in using their heads as rams. Do you see the analogy over here? When you know the system is on your side, you're not going to be on the edge and defensive all the time. This helps keep the rate high there and low here, which is why the rate is also so low in the Middle East or high in the more women-friendly states of India. How about that? You made it till here. Alright, stat number 2. 70 to 80% of rapes are false. Yes, and my MS Paint skills are amazing. Tushar Kapoor should get a national award and Arsenal will fucking win the league this year. This 70 to 80% is the acquittal rate. Acquittal means not enough proof to put someone's ass in jail. Acquittal is not a false case. The rate of acquittal for attempted murder, for example, is 73.4%. That doesn't mean there is a false murder case epidemic. For all violent crimes in total, it is 74.6%, meaning 74.6% of the time the accuser loses the case. For rape, it is 72.9%, which is lower than the rate for all violent crimes. Do you see my point? Most cases in all crimes result in acquittals. It is not just rape. And if you think the acquittal rate of a crime is the rate of false cases, please do India a big favor and get a Nazbandi. Alright, saying acquittal and false case are the same is something that would be laughed at even in Kasol, if you know what I mean. I have one more stat to talk about, but then this video would be too long for something that is to be honest, glorified slideshows, so I've been considerate and put the next stat in part 2. But I'd like to take the time to talk about something. The word misandry, since this word is so overused on the internet. Misandry or hatred of men. Now the question is, who is responsible for this? Women's rights activists or victim blaming politicians, cops, etc.? Now think of it this way. A common argument made in favor of victim blaming is that if you put a piece of meat in front of a shark, it will naturally try and eat it. Similar to the boys will be boys argument you keep hearing people make. But here you are generalizing all men as sharks. You're comparing men to basic carnivorous animals that have no sense of civility. How has the misandry of statements like this escaped notice? Yet women's rights activists, whose basic argument centers around the all men aren't sharks narrative, are the ones who are accused. You've given the fuckers who are actually guilty of misandry a free pass. Why do people have their guns trained on the ones with the same ends? See my point? Alright, that's it for this vid. Check out the second part, will you? It primarily revolves around a Delhi based stat.